attempts to woo Governor George Natembeya of Trans Nzoia in a bid to conquer Western Region. All right, talk to us across our feedback numbers tonight. We are streaming this broadcast live across our streaming platforms. My name is Cynthia Nanjala. Let's get this show started. We kick it off from beyond Kenya's borders, where Ugandan President Yoweri Museveni has been declared the winner of Thursday's general elections, extending his 4 decades in power by another 5 years. He gained 72% of the vote, the Election Commission announced, against 25% for his closest challenger, Bobi Wine, who has condemned what he described as fake results and ballot stuffing. Bobi Wine has not approved any details or provided any details, and the authorities have not responded to his allegations. But the African Union election observers said they saw no evidence of ballot stuffing. Robert Kyagulanyi has called for non-violent protests. Museveni, aged 81, first came to power as a rebel leader in 1986, but since then he has won 7 elections.
Votes in the election and the votes cast in his favor being more than 50% of the valid votes cast at the election. The Commission hereby declares the elected president declares candidate Yoweri Museveni
On the same breath, Ugandan opposition leader Bobi Wine has recounted how he narrowly escaped a military and police raid at his home in Magere on Friday night. In a statement shared on Saturday, Bobi Wine described the night as chaotic, accusing the police officers of shutting down power at his home and cutting off some CCTV footage. He confirmed that he managed to evade the authorities while some of his family members remained detained. Bobi Wine also addressed the confusion surrounding his whereabouts, linking it to a nationwide internet shutdown.
We reject whatever is being declared by Mr. Byabakama, because those so-called results that they're declaring are fake, and they don't in any way reflect what happened at the polling stations or what is at the declaration forms. And therefore, those results, the so-called results, are fake. After arresting almost all our agents, after ballot stuffing, and after shutting off the internet, the regime is trying to once again rig the elections. What happened in the polling station is a completely different story, and we demand that the internet be restored and the rightful declaration forms and tally sheets from the districts are uploaded on the internet so that the people of Uganda can see the rightful results in transparency. We also demand that they hold whatever declaration is going on until the internet is restored and until the people of Uganda can follow up on the results in transparency. We are glad that there are protests, and we encourage the people of Uganda to resist any rigging and to resist any effort of subduing their voice.
Now, back in the country, President William Ruto has firmly backed plans for merger coalition talks between the ruling UDA party and broad-based partner ODM in the wake of upcoming 2027 polls. The head of state sentiments come days after ODM held a central management committee meeting in Kilifi County, which initiated and gave the party leader Oburu Oginga the go-ahead to begin these talks. Ruto was speaking in Nyeri, where he met UDA leaders, saying this is the best move for Kenya.
Mulisikia tulitangaza juzi chama ya UDA, sasa tutaenda kuketi chini na chama ya ODM tupangane. Haya, kujeni hapa tupange, tutengeneze serikali, Kenya isonge mbele. Kwani shida iko wapi? Shida iko wapi? Si nia ni kuunganisha watu wa Kenya wote. Na mimi nataka niwaeleze, leo tuko na serikali ya broad based. Hakuna kitu wa mlima, watu wa mlima wamepoteza. Barabara ya Nyeri itajengwa. Barabara ya Kisumu itajengwa. barabara ya Mombasa itajengwa, kwa sababu tuko na mpango ya kutosha. Shida ya Kenya kwa muda mrefu ni sharing the small cake we have. We now have a strategy on how to bake a bigger cake where everybody is going to share. Hata wakati tulikuwa na changamoto ya mambo ya taifa letu la Kenya, pale ndani kukatokea opportunity ya kuunda serikali ya kuwajumuisha Wakenya wote. Leo tuko na serikali ya broad based. Mumewahi kuona maandamano mengine kwa barabara? Mumeona fujo inaendelea? Mumesikia kelele inapigwa? Yes, kwa sababu inside the challenges that we have, we must look for opportunity to take Kenya forward so that we don't succumb to the challenges we have as a nation. Instead, we must look for where is the opportunity, even in the middle of any challenge, to move the country forward. Sikizeni. Mbali na chama ya UDA na Kenya Kwanza, hata wale hawakutupigia kura, hata wale walikuwa wanapinga sisi, safari hii watapiga kura na sisi.
At the same time, President William Ruto hosted UDA grassroots leaders from Nyeri County at the Sagana State Lodge in Nyeri as part of ongoing engagements with regional party structures. The discussions focused on strengthening the party's grassroots networks, enhancing coordination ahead of future political activities, and addressing local development priorities raised by community representatives. The meeting is part of a broader series of consultations the President has been holding with UDA leaders across the country as the party moves to strengthen internal structures and prepare for upcoming political and organizational activities.
Mimi naomba urafiki yetu ambayo tumejenga iendelee mbele. Mimi nataka niwahakikishie ile kazi mlinipatia nitafanya na bidii, na tutahakikisha kwamba tunabadilisha Kenya, na nitaunganisha hawa viongozi wote, na nitaunganisha taifa lote la Kenya, kwa sababu umoja ni nguvu, kutengana ni udhaifu. Tumekubaliana tuendelee pamoja, si ndio? Nyinyi mtachunga chama hapa Nyeri, mtaweka chama imara hapa Nyeri, ndio tuunganishe na Wakenya wale wengine wote. Hebu nione wale wanasema tutachenga chama hapa Nyeri. Harambe! Harambe! UDA! 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 Kazi ni kazi! Kazi ni kazi! Kazi ni kazi! Hey, naona imeshika. Tumekubaliana? Msema tutatembea pamoja? Si namna hiyo? Mimi nimepangana na nyinyi, na kama kuna mtu anafikiria ati ataharibu urafiki mimi nimejenga pamoja na nyinyi, huyo ni mtu anaota ndoto ya mchana. Mimi siwachani na nyinyi. Muanze kujipanga. Mimi siwachani na nyinyi. Mujipange. Nyinyi mnanielewa? Kwa vyovyote, juu chini, kulia kushoto, mbele na nyuma, atuwachani, tunatembea pamoja.
National Treasury Cabinet Secretary John Mbadi has criticized the performance of former governments, particularly that of retired President Uhuru Kenyatta, saying that many roads across the country were not completed during his tenure, despite funds having been allocated for that purpose. Speaking during a national dialogue forum with citizens on the privatization of some public corporations in Kakamega County, Mbadi noted that citizens should verify actual development outcomes before praising leaders who have already completed their terms in office. Additionally, Mbadi stated that the Kenya Kwanza government under President William Ruto is continuing to complete road projects that were left unfinished by the previous administration, while aiming to achieve sustainable development in the country's transport infrastructure.
I want to give you my word. The roads that are ongoing, we will make sure we put more money on those roads. I will talk with my colleague, and he's a very listening minister, Chirchir. We put money. I will tell him we prioritize those roads which have taken years to conclude. And all roads that are stalled, Uhuru left all roads in this country stalled. Akikuja hapa naona mnashangilia yes, and I don't even know. But I think when someone leaves office, people forget, which is okay. Because I will also leave office, forget about the bad things I've done. But the truth is that road construction in this country is stalled. It is this government which has restarted the roads. Cynthia. And we will make sure that these roads are completed so that Kenyans get services. Since Moi did Kasarani, Kibaki did no stadium, Uhuru did no stadium of international standard where we can play matches. It's only Ruto who has done Talanta and now doing Buhu.
There's a new political campaign emerging in Western Kenya as politicians aligned with the Kenya Kwanza coalition intensify efforts to persuade Trans Nzoia County Governor George Natembeya to defect to their side. Bungoma Governor Kenneth Lusaka and Kakamega Deputy Governor Ayub Savula are leading the campaign. They hosted members of the Trans Nzoia County Assembly during a consultative meeting where they urged grassroots leaders to support the government and to convince Governor Natembeya to reconsider his opposition stance. The leaders argue that Natembeya should not remain in the opposition but should instead position himself within a more influential political camp ahead of the 2027 general elections.
Tunataka kuuliza wenzetu wa Trans Nzoia kwa kiongozi wao governor aje sisi tufanye kazi pamoja, asiwe ajipate ako isolated peke yake, na sisi huko kama magavana wanne wa upande huu tunatembelea pamoja. Unajua sasa tunazungumzia masuala ya broad based. Kwa hivyo lengo letu ni kuona kwamba mheshimiwa rais anashinda tamu ya pili. Na broad based iko na parties nyingi, tuko na ODM, tuko na UDA, tuko na Ford Kenya na parties zingine zote ambazo zilikuwa katika ule mrengo wa Kenya Kwanza.
Mimi nikiwa kiongozi kutoka kule Trans Nzoia na nataka nimuhusie mheshimiwa Governor George Natembeya aungane na ndugu yake mheshimiwa Lusaka na wengine ili tutembee kama timu moja, tulete jamii pamoja in terms of mambo ya maendeleo.
Paka ikitaka kuwa lion, but you must lose appetite for that. Ndianza ku dream kuwa lion. So ambia Natembeya a lose appetite for that. Ya dream kuwa lion. Na tunamuomba aje afanye kazi na William Samoei Ruto.
To some tragic news, a 3-year-old pupil has been confirmed dead after strong winds blew off the roof of 4 classrooms at St. Pascal's Academy in Mzee-Wanyama area in Nakuru East on Friday afternoon. 3 other pupils sustained serious injuries in the incident and are currently admitted at the Nakuru Teaching and Referral Hospital. One of the children is currently in the intensive care unit, while 2 others are in the general ward awaiting surgery. The body of the deceased child was taken to the Nakuru Teaching and Referral Hospital mortuary, where post-mortem examination will be conducted to establish the exact cause of death. Residents and parents have raised concerns over the school's infrastructure, saying similar incidents have occurred in the past whenever the area experiences strong winds.
Kuna upepo ilikuja kubwa sana, na wakati ilikuja tukasimama tu hadi tukafunga makazi, ikazunguka kukakaa kidogo, tukasikia kuna mahali inabomoa, na wakati tuliona inabomoa tukatulia tu, kukakaa kidogo, nikapigiwa simu na mzazi mmoja akaniambia nikimbie kwa kuwa kuna watoto wameumia kwa hiyo shule hii Pascal.
Hapa kwetu kuna jambo hili la upepo kuvuma. Kuna mwaka unaweza enda mwaka mmoja ama miaka mbili, then upepo huo unakuja, upepo mkali, si mara ya kwanza upepo kuja na kubomoa. Hata kuna wakati mmoja ulikuja kwa kuta wazee wamesimama mahali wakauana, wakajikinga kwa ukuta na wakauawa. Walikuwa wazee wawili, na kuna nyumba nyingi zimekuwa zikibebwa, hata nyumba mzima inabomoka, na ni kama kwamba hapa kwetu kuna njia ambayo upepo hupitia.
I had 2 children. One was injured by a stone. I took him at the gate. The second one was an iron was lying on his leg. I heard it is PP2. So I ran. I picked the child. I took him at the gate.
KOTU Secretary General Francis Atwoli has denied allegations of sidelining workers, reaffirming his commitment to championing the welfare of Kenyans organized under their respective trade unions. Speaking in Kisumu, Atwoli said the dissenting opinions are pushed by a section of opposition political leaders whose ultimate motive is to reduce the influence of trade unions in the country. His defense comes a week after some workers in the flower farms of Naivasha expressed dissatisfaction over claims that Atwoli was prioritizing politics over their welfare.
I cannot see anybody who can coordinate from the coast to west. I don't see anybody. I'm not seeing anybody. I'm not seeing anybody. I can tell you for free. And if you have hate, please put your head aside and work on strategies and facts. Because some people would hate you, like me. People would hate, just say, if you see what they write on it now, because of hate and envy. But when you ask them, go to workers and ask them whether Atwoli should exit, they can't. Whenever they go even in the hotels, workers will tell you, we still need Francis Atwoli. Workers will tell you, we still need Francis Atwoli. Workers will tell you.
Now that man always finds a way with slangs and verbal talks, right? So we take a quick break from that report from the KOTU boss, Francis Atwoli. But when we come back, we've got more on the other side. Don't go too far. The institution over poor infrastructure. They say the deteriorating conditions have contributed to declining academic performance and a rising number of pupils transferring to neighboring schools. Stakeholders claim that since the appointment of the current head teacher, no meaningful development has taken place at the school. They allege that funds allocated for the construction and renovation of classrooms and sanitation facilities were misused, leaving learners in unsafe and unconducive learning conditions.
Sema kwamba shule hii imeoza, vyoo hakuna. Watoto wanajisaidia kwa fence. Tumeua nyoka karibu 5 juzi kwa sababu ya mazingira ya watoto kuwa mbaya. Vyoo hakuna, hakuna kabisa, hakuna, maana watoto wanaenda nje na wanashare watoto wa kiume na wa kike.
Imekuwa na shida kubwa sana tangu mwalimu mkuu ambaye ameingia kwa hii shule 2024. Amerusa hii shule nyuma sana. Ukiangalia darasa ya grade 9 ilianza saa hii mwaka moja haijaisha na pesa kwa account hakuna. Napoongea hivi contractor kwa site hayuko.
Milk stakeholders in Embu County have renewed calls for the national government to hand over the underutilized Runyenjes Kenya Cooperatives Creameries KCC factory to local milk farmers, arguing that the move would unlock the region's vast dairy potential. The farmers say placing the factory under farmer ownership would boost milk production, curb persistent wastage, and increase incomes across Embu and neighboring counties. Speaking during the launch of the Mkitha Milk Farmers Union, which brings together dairy farmers from Embu, Kirinyaga, and Tharaka Nithi counties, the Kenya Dairy Board Chairman Genisio Mugo said the Runyenjes factory has remained idle despite its strategic importance.
Maziwa yetu yote ambayo tumezalisha pamoja, na tunamuuliza kwa unyenyekevu, ile pesa alikuwa ameweka ya kuendeleza kiwanda ya New KCC pale Runyenjes, sisi hatutaki hiyo kiwanda ikue under New KCC. tunataka iwe ni yetu wakulima wa Embu County Dairy Union. Kwa hivyo tunakuomba umwambie sisi tuko tayari, atusaidie tupate hiyo kiwanda, tuichukue, na umwambie mimi nimetenga 200 million, aniongezee ingine 500 million, tufungue hiyo factory na tutamshukuru.
We have assessed the KCC plant in Runyenjes, which is a bulking center. In principle, it is extremely underutilized. It is not helping the farmers much. The only thing that needs to be done is to have that facility meet the very objective that the government of President Ruto intended to achieve, and that is reducing the losses, the after milking losses within the county. As a result, it is not meeting that agenda.
The Teachers Service Commission TSC has assured parents that adequate measures have been put in place to guarantee quality education for students joining secondary school under the competency-based education system, while urging them to have confidence in the new curriculum. The Acting Chief Executive Officer, Evelyn Emite, stated that the government has made significant investments to ensure the success of the CBE system, including extensive teacher training to facilitate a smooth transition from the 844 system. Addressing parents' concerns about education standards under the new system, Emite emphasized that CBE focuses more on practical skills rather than examinations, noting that the country needs citizens with technical skills in order to boost employment opportunities and reduce unemployment.
I know we've had challenges with CBE education, and most of you are worried that can our teachers receive learners in secondary school and implement CBE? Yes, they can.
I am strongly calling upon President Dr. William Samoei Ruto to include and increase more affirmative measures for the women representatives so that we are productive, we are practical, we are realistic in youth empowerment, in girl child empowerment, in boy child empowerment.
Kadzo Catherine is all smiles after the Jomvu Member of Parliament Badi Twalib intervened and revived her dream of joining Mama Ngina High School. This came after her parents' efforts hit a dead end, prompting teachers from the school, including David Mtugi, to seek various forms of assistance. The office of Jomvu MP Badi Twalib, led by the CDF committee chairperson Owen Ogonda, has pledged to support the girl through the education sponsorship program initiated by the Member of Parliament a few years ago. Additionally, one of the officers in the office, Asma Mohammed, advised Catherine to focus on her studies and avoid engaging in unproductive activities. The principal of Badi Twalib School, Edith Mwova, together with Catherine's parents, thanked the leader for intervening and offering them much needed support.
I want to become a musician. Like my role model is Tyler. I wish to become that. And not only music, I do speeches and talk.
Nilishukuru sana venye mtoto wangu alipita, na hata pia baada ya hapo nikashtuka pia, lakini nashukuru wazazi walimu wa Badi Twalib wameng'ang'ana na mtoto mpaka wakamfikisha mahali ambapo amefika.
Hivyo tunajivunia sana uongozi wake, na kwanza vile sasa ameshika kiongozi mwingine ambaye huyu siku za usoni atakuwa ameendeleza uongozi. Kiongozi mzuri na ile huendeleza. Kwa hivyo tunamshukuru sana, na endelee vivyo hivyo, na sisi tunaendelea kushukuru na kufurahia. Siku ni kesho na kesho ya jana ni leo. Sasa vile imefika, namshukuru sana mheshimiwa kwa kuwa amepiga hatua ambayo imefanya hata ni haraka sana, kwa sababu vile mmefika mimi hata nimeridhika, kwa sababu huyu mtoto akienda ili ungekuwa ni kazi ngumu sana. Mtoto ameenda national school, ameitwa national school na hajaenda, lakini mahali ulipo mheshimiwa Badi Twalib, mbunge wa Jomvu, na kushukuru sana kwa kuchukua hatua.
To some sporting action, Manchester United gave Michael Carrick the dream start to his interim tenure as manager on Saturday, beating Manchester City 2-0 to deal a huge blow to their local rivals' Premier League title aspirations. The Red Devils dominated at Old Trafford and were only made to wait until the final 25 minutes to seal victory by the inspired Gianluigi Donnarumma, and because they had 3 goals ruled out for offside. Brian Mbeumo marked his return from the African Cup of Nations by firing home the opening goal before Patrick Dorgu sealed just a second win in 8 games for United. Victory lifts Carrick's men into the top 4, but their win will be celebrated just as much in North London as Arsenal close in on a first league title in 22 years. Mikel Arteta's men can open up a 9-point lead at the top when they visit Nottingham Forest later on Saturday. That news has got one of my colleagues here very, very excited. That is Michael Depo. He cannot stop talking about Manchester United. We just asked you people to do us a favor today to allow City, close that gap with between themselves and Arsenal, but you even failed that simple task. Anyway, we wrap it up at that point tonight. Thank you for watching. I hope you're up to date with what is making headlines across the country. You'll be with Martin Masharia tomorrow night. Have yourself a blessed Sunday ahead. God bless you.